Welcome, everyone. I am Brittany Martino, Strategic Engagement Officer for AFWERX Vegas, and today I'm joined by Mark Rowland, Innovation Actualizer from Vegas, and Colonel John Flynn of the U.S. Air Force Reserve and Executive at AFWERX International. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So today we're here to announce the AFWERX Fusion Face of the Future agenda. AFWERX Fusion is our annual event. Before we get into that, however, we want to share some of the backstory on how this year's Fusion became Face of the Future.
There was a 130-mile-per-hour
We've got some
gust.
big news in store here with Mark Rowland and, of course, Brittany. And, Mark, you've been involved in coordinating AFWERX involvement, what happened at Tyndall Air Force Base for almost 2 years now. What can you share with us today?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, John. So a lot has transpired since 2018 when Hurricane Michael hit. For the past year, the AFWERX team and the men and women of the U.S. Air Force have been working with private industry to respond not just to the devastation that one hurricane wreaked on one base, but on a roadmap for the Air Force and even the DoD to follow for all the military installations and bases. So this is not just for Tyndall, this is the base of the future across the entire DoD. We grouped together 4 initial challenges to go out to industry, and then later we added 2 additional ones, all of which we felt were critical to building a better Air Force.
So these efforts, it seems like it's moving pretty fast, expeditious nature. I mean, how do you engage with industry in this sort of context?
That's a good question, John. So we held a series of workshops with industry, with academia, with DoD participants to make sure that we really did understand the problems currently faced by the Air Force and also just to look at what was possible. This turned into a challenge statement that we released to industry as an open crowdsourced campaign. We had over 1,700 submissions for this. We then worked with experts within the Air Force and DoD to select the very top teams and made 370 invitations to people to be involved in this event. This event was originally scheduled to be at the beginning of June. It was obviously originally intended to be an in-person event in Las Vegas. But in March, given everything else that's happened in our country, everyone going into lockdown, we had to pivot. So we changed our regular 2-day physical event into a 3-day virtual event. So 2 weeks ago, we announced that AFWERX Fusion was taking registrations and will be happening July 28th through 30. This year is going to be a little bit different. Brittany, would you like to elaborate?
Sure, thank you, Mark. I am actually really excited. As Mark mentioned, we are going virtual. So this allowed us to rethink what a conference would look like. Many components are incorporated. So we are going to have, rather than 2 days of programming, 3 days of speakers, panels. And we're spreading that out so that there's shorter hours that allows for greater flexibility. In many ways, it will be the same amazing fusion that you have all come to expect. So insightful conversations from industry leaders, panelists, and we've got more.
That's right. We do have more. It sounds really cool, Brittany, especially within the confines of what's been going on around COVID and that. But, you know, Mark, we have a lot of businesses, a lot of people who submitted ideas and who submitted for these challenges. Will they be participating? Will they be tuning into this event?
Yeah, of course. So as I said, we selected 370 teams across the 6 challenges that we launched. These included topics like base security, installation resilience, reverse engineering, leveraging technology for operational effectiveness, and also how to create culture of innovation. And finally, my favorite challenge of all, which is the Airmen and Family Wellbeing Challenge. So each of these teams will be pitching privately to the government as experts. And in addition to that, they're also going to be pitching publicly as part of a showcase to the attendees. So it really is going to be a great chance for people that come to our event to see some amazing companies from all over the world. But in addition to that, there's so much more to Fusion.
That's right. These keynotes, panels, and fireside chats will be talking about these themes that we are hosting each day. Again, we're going to hear from leading companies, academic institutions, and across the Department of Defense.
And in addition to that, we're also going to have some guest appearances from a very diverse group of names, a lot that you'll recognize. People like Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top and Mr. Las Vegas himself, Wayne Newton, just to name a few. It's going to be really amazing.
Wait, go back. What'd you say? Did you say ZZ Top? What is that? You mean ZZ Top, right?
England, you've got to get used to it. By the way, John, aren't you one of our co-hosts?
yes, like you've all, AFWERX does take a lot of risk. And so I am a co-host, but they've armed me with some of the best in the business. Krista Klein and I are going to be co-hosting. Krista is an amazing actress. She's a philanthropist. She's a great human being. In addition, she's the granddaughter of a former airman, and she's excited to support AFWERX. So I'm really looking forward to working with her. But you guys know, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep up.
John, I'm sure you'll be just fine. For our audience, if you didn't hear earlier, John is a colonel in the Air Force Reserve. He's also vice president of administration at MGM here in Las Vegas. And before that, John worked in the White House as a special advisor to the president and vice president during 2011 through 2016. So I'm sure with John and Krista at the helm, we have an amazing team for Fusion.
Actually, John,
Thanks, Mark.
since you used to work for the White House, you probably got an impressive Rolodex, right?
Well, Brittany, I've got some great mentors, and I've got some great colleagues that have brought me along the way. Why?
Well, I was thinking it might be cool if you could get a senator, a congresswoman, or some other prominent person to join us.
You mean, we're live. You mean like right now?
I mean, why not?
All right.
Come on,
This is in
John.
the script. Hold on.
We love a good
What?
chat.
Get me the king of Morocco. All right. I just sent a voice message to the biggest name that I got.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
We'll wait.
You got back. Yep.
Colonel Flynn, I got your text,
King.
sir. This is a king. What you want?
King? John?
Well, I look, it was the biggest title I had in the Rolodex, like you asked for him. And by the way, you can't ever doubt my man's ability to generate some good vibes, Mark. Elvis, great to see you, man.
Nice to see you, man. And Mark, you don't be cruel, man. I'm looking forward to being part of this. I was just an Army sergeant, but I can handle this. Put me in, coach.
I mean, I love your enthusiasm. I think this is exactly what AFWERX needs. We need the king. Let's bring him in. What do you say, Mark?
Okay, why not? Well, we are in Vegas after all. I'm assuming you're not too busy at the wedding chapel, though.
Oh, no, I can handle it. This year with the AFWERX, pay attention to social media. Everything. LinkedIn, Facebook, even YouTube, YouTube, depending on what part of the country you're from. We're going to be dropping shout outs and profile teasers and some really amazing original content. So keep an eye on that. We recognize that you're not able to come to Vegas. So we're hoping that with the help of Elvis, it's me, and some of his friends, that we can bring a little bit of Vegas to you instead,
That's right, Elvis. And this is going to be a virtual conference like no other. Between the big name speakers, we've got some special celebrity appearances and the surprise and special guests that we're going to introduce over the next couple of weeks. It is not a conference that you're going to want to miss. I guarantee there will be moments where you're going to burst out loud in laughter. We've already had some special moments behind the scenes. You're going to shed a tear. Expect Fusion to be more interactive, more fun, more innovation, and more Fusion in general.
And with that, I think this is a good time for us to roll the video that announces the agenda, and we will be right back with Q&A. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, John. And Elvis.
There was a 130-mile-per-hour gust at the Air Force Base just to your
The
east.
hurricane made landfall, took direct aim at Mexico.
If you wanted to actually test some new ideas of how to build a base of the future, you might as well start with the base that's just been annihilated.
not excited now, then maybe Elvis can sing a song for us a little bit later. But first, we're going to take a couple questions. First question we have is, I'm not in the Air Force and/or military. Should I attend? John, you want to take that?
Sure, happy to take that. Emphatically, yes. Anybody, everyone should register and attend this conference. It's 3 days. There's going to be panels and workshops for everyone, and there's going to be some speakers that you all, I'm sure, are going to recognize, some innovators and legends in their own right. But bottom line, anybody that wants to learn about or wants to inspire and motivate an innovative culture, whether it's in their workspace, whether it's in their units, their squadrons, in the corporate sector, small, medium-sized businesses, nonprofits, even at your venture capital firm, there is something for you. So please go to our website, Air Force or AFWERXfusion.com, and take a look, as we'll be posting more content over the next couple of weeks.
All right, and we have another question. What are we most excited to see, or who are you most excited to hear from? Mark, you take it.
I can take that. So for me, I always get really excited about the teams, the companies that have been pitching, that have come through. It's like I say, we had 1,700 companies. We've narrowed that down to the top 370. So I'm really excited to see them. We've got virtual booths set up as part of a virtual trade show. So any attendee will be able to go into our showcase site and literally go into a booth and see information about that company, watch a video, contact the company. And then in addition to that, live for a couple of hours a day, you'll be able to just go into a Zoom link and actually have a conversation with the team. Sometimes with the CEO of the team. So I think that's really exciting. And in addition, I just think the networking opportunities. So every day we're going to have some pretty awesome scheduled networking events. And then finally, the happy hour. I'm really excited. I know I'm not allowed to say anything about it, but some of the entertainers that we have for the virtual happy hour, I think are just incredible.
I'm also excited about the happy hour. So another question, this one's for you, Elvis. Will you be performing at the event?
Oh, sure. Let me get rid of this. It's freaking out the camera. Yeah, I will be. I'll be doing my Andy Kaufman impersonation, actually, as it turns out. But someone wanted to hear me sing a little bit. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I only know one song, so and it's weird without any music. Bright light city, gonna set my soul on fire. Got a whole lot of money that's ready to burn, so get those stakes up higher. There's 1,000 pretty women waiting out there. They're all living, the devil may care. And I'm just a devil with love to spare. How many now? Viva Las
Vegas.
Oh, I know. I don't know about this.
I'm there for you.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, well, it's all about Vegas, man.
If everyone can't join this year, we're going to bring a little bit of Vegas to you. Next question. Everything is going virtual these days. What makes this virtual event different than any other? Mark, how is it different?
So I think, so we've all been locked in kind of quarantine for the last few months. And I know I've been involved in a lot of virtual events. This one is definitely going to be different. There is a lot in there. We've tried to make this as entertaining and as engaging as possible. It's like I said, there'll be lots of little cameo performances from celebrities saying positive things and just a little bit of fun. We want to keep you entertained. We want to keep you engaged throughout the entire event. So trust me, this will be something like no other virtual event you've ever been to. Certainly no virtual Air Force event you've ever been to. And like I said, there'll be networking opportunities, happy hour, a trade show, amazing keynote speakers, panelists, etc. And you, the audience, will be able to really engage with this from live panels that we're going to be having Q&A, as well as polls. So you'll definitely be able to get involved in this. It is definitely going to be different to most that you've ever been to.
I mean, you get to avoid the Vegas heat and enjoy from the comfort of your own home. So here's another question. Will the event be recorded for those videos? I guess I can.
Sure.
Yes, they will be recorded. It will be up on the website and they will be on the AFWERX. And another question we have, can innovators from around the world submit solutions? Mark,
Yeah, I can take that. So yeah, of course, the submissions have already been completed, but we did get submissions from America. In addition to that, from Canada, Australia, Israel, Philippines, Germany, Netherlands, and also the UK. So yeah, anyone from around the world, as long as you're in an allied country, as we define it, can take part in this and submit solutions. And a lot of those companies from these different countries are also engaged in our showcase as well. So we'll have teams from Australia, the UK, etc., taking part in the showcase.
I mean, that's what innovation is all about, right? Where our challenge process allows us to look for solutions all over the United States and all over the world. So with that, any closing comments?
Looking forward to seeing you at the event.
And that's a wrap.
.com.
There was a 130-mile-per-hour gust at the Air Force Base just to your
The
east.
hurricane
and
made
that is
landfall, took direct aim at Mexico.
If you wanted to actually test some new ideas of how to build a base of the future, you might as well start with the base that's just been annihilated.